Hallelujah, Christ is risen. Our path, our way into this season of exile, of not being able to worship together, it happened very quickly, and at times it was frantic. Because of that, it required some very quick decisions. And I want to say, first of all, I'm deeply grateful for the creative and compassionate ways that your clergy and vestries have responded to that. And I want to thank you for the ways in which you have adapted to all that's happening and even stepped up to the plate of ministry. I mean, even now, one of the positive consequences that has happened, that has emerged in this time apart, is the offerings of daily prayer that are happening throughout our diocese. And so much of what is being offered is being led by the laity, folks who are usually in the pews. And I'm hearing many stories of our congregations providing food, making face coverings, organizing pastoral care teams, offering online Bible studies, writing thank you notes to healthcare workers. People are being the church. You are proclaiming your baptismal ministry in powerful and remarkable ways, so thank you. In last Sunday's sermon, I preached on the verse in the gospel when these two defeated disciples are on their way to Emmaus and they say to the yet unrecognized Jesus, "We had hoped." Indeed, I had really hoped that by this time we'd be ready to reopen our buildings and return for worship in a grand and glorious manner. But such is not the case. However, knowing what we know right now, we do have the opportunity to kind of take our time and to reopen and return in a far more proactive and careful manner. To that end, last week I appointed a group of clergy to recommend to me and to you a path forward. I asked them to let us know what a new date for return to in-person worship might be and to offer guidelines for how that worship would take place. So with this video is a letter from me to you and also the notes from their first meeting. This is not a finished product, but I wanted you to see and recognize the wisdom and care of their initial deliberations. Their most important recommendation is that we continue our suspension of in-person worship until May 31st, the Feast of Pentecost. They go on to say that date may need to be extended even further. The group is clear that we need to wait and watch and utilize data from reliable public health officials to make our decisions. I've accepted this recommendation, and so all in-person worship in our diocese continues to be suspended until the Feast of Pentecost, May 31st. Secondly, I asked the group to develop and give us some recommendations so each congregation can use these to develop and design in-person worship that is appropriate to their local context while holding on to three concerns. First of all, safety. How do we set parameters in our worship that will convey to you as best we can that we have taken as much reasonable precautions possible for personal safety? And then how do we provide resources for those who decide still to wait? How do we keep them connected and involved? Secondly, that whatever we do must be phased and staged. Opening our buildings does not mean an immediate return to the way things were. Whatever decisions we make will need to be gradual and taken in stages as conditions improve per recommendations made by medical and public health officials. Finally, that our guide allow flexibility within our local contexts and cultures of worship while honoring our common theology and tradition of worship. I want to underline one point that the group made to me. There was a strong consensus from them that our way forward be done as one body. In other words, all congregations in our diocese will wait until we can all reopen in some manner concurrently and in unity. I'm deeply grateful for their thorough and quick response to my charge. Please remember that this is a work in progress. In the meantime, let us continue to walk in the way together, knowing that one day soon we will return to our tables. We will make it to Emmaus. It is my prayer that just as it was for those weary followers, that we too will be able at that table to look back on our journey and to say, just as they did, that our hearts were burning. So stay safe, love your neighbor, and God's peace be with you.